So both the data and even the most intense, fervent ACC defenders themselves are saying the Big 12 is the better league right now. How about that? Saturday has reduced even the most passionate ACC defenders to be like, oh, Big 12 actually is the better league here. What can we say? UCF 34, North Carolina 9, TCU 35, SMU 24. Let me start with TCU. I know I talked a little bit about them in the immediate reaction live stream on Saturday, but this is a game that could have been a 20-point win for TCU. Speaking of me being frustrated, I was very annoyed with TCU throughout that game. Like, TCU should be in firm control of this. They let SMU hang around too much. TCU outgained SMU by 150 yards. And if you just take away, now some of this was I know officiating. I'm hearing TCU fans complaining about the officiating, and I get it. Like that, the McAllister, that was a touchdown. I really felt like that was a touchdown. He got his foot in bounds. And more than anything, it was just like, dude, when someone makes a play like that, can we give them the benefit of the doubt when it really is like 50-50 and you just can't tell on the replay? Just give him the touchdown, man. It was a hell of a play. But there's that, and then there's like the 50-50 ball in the end zone that gets ripped away for an interception. That was so close to being another touchdown. You know, you have a missed field goal in there for TCU too. I was like, there's just so many points left on the board here. And like, frankly, Eric McAllister could have had 5 touchdowns. The 2 plays I just named were the touchdowns 4 and 5 for McAllister. As wild as that is, that would have been 7 for Josh Hoover. So this probably should have been like a 20-point TCU win. That was an impressive effort. And, man, you could just see – I got to read you some of this. I don't know if I'm going to read the whole thing because it's very long. But, guys, I got to read you Rhett Lashlee, SMU head coach, after the game. You know this one stung, man. This one stung for not just the ACC, but SMU and Rhett Lashlee. Now, I know that there's more context baked into this. TCU has opted not to renew the Iron Skillet rivalry for now. But, dude, Rhett Lashlee after the game, after losing this, I'm sure it was a really big deal for them to win this game after what we did to them last year. Okay, so you're immediately going to, well, we beat you last year. They were motivated. We put 66 on them. We didn't beat them today. They did. We're 3-3 the last 6 times we played. This really felt like Rhett Lashlee was like on Twitter. This felt like Rhett Lashlee being like Twitter guy arguing after the game with a TCU fan. I think they know what we're building. I think they know what's coming. I think everybody else does. This stinks. I hate losing. I hate losing to them. I hate losing to anybody. I hate it for our players, our fans, our administration, our donors. What we're building for the long haul. It's funny, you go 2-2 to start the season. People forget you've won 22 games in the last 2 years or haven't lost a conference game in almost 3 years in the regular season, which is funny because while that is true, not losing a regular season conference game in the ACC, they have lost 3 games to Big 12 opponents since entering the ACC. So thank you for helping make this point, Rhett Lashlee, that the Big 12 is a superior league to the ACC. Quote, there are going to be ups and downs on the climb. Make no mistake, we're still climbing. We weren't the ones that wanted to stop playing the game. We're going to play the teams on our schedule. We're in the ACC, one of the best 3 leagues in America. So there he goes again, even though he just admitted we beat everybody in the ACC, but we can't beat anybody in the Big 12. We're going to go to Notre Dame next year. Then we're going to have OU come to town. Then we're going to home and home with LSU. We're going to keep building a program that plays on that stage. We're not going to worry about what happens 40 miles west of us. Boy, salty, my friend. That is salty with a capital T from our friend Rhett Lashlee at SMU. That one hurt him. Now, he's not wrong that that game should be played. Okay, TCU, I get the reasons that you're not doing it. I understand. But play the game. For college football's sake, play the game. And SMU, much as we like to poke fun at them, it does look like they're going to be at least a formidable opponent here. Like they're not, SMU has elevated itself. Let's give them credit for that. You should play the game. But funny to see Rhett Lashlee go into basically Twitter fingers after the game with what he's saying at the podium. So that tells you how much that meant to the ACC. Anyway, so that's a part of it, right? Rhett Lashlee, ACC guy, in his quote, already admits, but hey, the ACC is the inferior conference. We beat everybody in the ACC. We don't beat these teams in the Big 12. So there's part one. I've also got some data, and I've also got, that's not even the part that I was referencing when I said the most fervent ACC defenders have admitted the Big 12 is better. By the way, UCF 34, North Carolina 9. UCF just kind of slowly and steadily was the better team throughout the game, and just kind of felt like North Carolina was just slowly bleeding out the entire way. Never threatened to win that game at all. Never threatened to get much going on offensively at all. And this is a UCF team that, like, Scott Frost made mention of this after the game. I think most figured was going to be the worst team in the Big 12, or certainly one of the bottom 2 or 3. And they're just slowly demolishing and sucking the life out of North Carolina, who, by the way, also got clubbed by TCU, as you well know. So North Carolina, where was the stat? What have they lost these combined games by this year? Did I not write that down? It was an insane amount. I guess I didn't. They have been, there we go, 82-23. TCU and UCF beat North Carolina by a combined 82-23. Best football coach of all time, 82-23. He loses when going up against the Big 12. Here, this is the tail of the tape this year for the Big 12 against the ACC. The Big 12 is 6-1. You're keeping track at home. 6-1 against the ACC. TCU and Baylor both beat SMU, playoff team from last year. TCU and UCF both beat North Carolina by a combined 82-23. West Virginia, who looks like one of the bottom few teams in the Big 12, beat Pitt last week. BYU destroyed Stanford. And the only loss, the one in the 6-1 against the ACC, that was Colorado. Expectation being a lower half of the Big 12 team. Certainly that's played out this way so far this year. Barely losing to Georgia Tech, the 16th ranked team in the country. So, tail of the tape right now, based on what's happened this season, would certainly tell you the Big 12 looks like a better conference. Now, I'm labeled as Big 12 propaganda guy. I am aware that Florida State and Miami exist. Okay, but let's take a look at the AP poll. Big 12 right now has 12, 14, 24, and 25. The ACC has 2, 8, and 16. Obviously, there are more Big 12 teams there. Okay, let's start with that. Clemson has been a massive disappointment. Clemson does not look very good at all. The Big 12, I would say Texas Tech to me. Let's call Texas Tech and Florida State a wash. FSU fans might not like that. I'm going to call Florida State and Texas Tech a wash. Miami is the outlier in the difference there. Miami does look like a bona fide national championship contender, though do not put it past Mario Cristobal to find a way to not get that team into the playoff. All right, wait and see, but they certainly have a talented enough roster to do it. That's a team that the Big 12 doesn't have. Miami, yes, I think has an extra gear or two to their ceiling than even Texas Tech has. But the rest of it, the Big 12 has a lot more depth. They've got more quality. I think behind those teams, it's a really healthy debate. And if you're going by the numbers, okay, Tom Fernelli from the Cover 3 podcast, who uses, I think he calls it the Fernelli Plus, right? But you see like the S&P Plus that Bill Connolly uses, like everybody's got their computer metric. His metric has the Big 12 as closer to the Big 10, way closer to the Big 10 than it is to the ACC. I mean, look at this thing. The Big 12 is like right there with the Big 10 in terms of power rating for the conference. The ACC, not even close. What are we? The Big 12 is like 3.5. The ACC is closer to the American Conference than it is to the Big 12. Okay, so I'm presenting these numbers. I didn't make them. Tom Fernelli made them, and he's the guy that after week 1 said the Big 12 was a one-bid league. So this is not a biased source here, my friends, and or ACC fans who might be watching this video. All right. But look, set all that aside. If you're still not convinced, you still need some deciding vote here after seeing Big 12 6-1 against the ACC, some blowout wins. They've got Rhett Lashlee resorting to the childish Twitter arguments after the game. How about we just ask SMU fans? Who has more fervently defended the ACC than SMU fans over the last couple of years since they got into that conference? Nobody loves the ACC like SMU fans, all right? And even SMU fans are resigned to the fact that they have to admit that the Big 12 is the better league. Let's look at this. Thanks to Message Board Geniuses, one of the best Twitter accounts out there. We let Sonny have the last laugh. I can't believe it. That gross backstabbing traitor deserves nothing, and he gets to walk away with everything. They get the skillet indefinitely. I'm seriously sick to my stomach. This loss is unforgivable. So many different reasons why. Season is ruined. Doesn't matter how many more games we can win from here. Just makes the ACC look incredibly weak. If we win from here out, it's a no-win situation and would lead to many more consequences down the road. Can't even begin to argue that the ACC is as good as the Big 12. Can't even begin to argue that the ACC is as good as the Big 12. Nothing to stand on, and a lot of it is our fault. Man, we couldn't beat either TCU or Baylor. It's completely humiliating. This guy's down bad. Aim for the bushes. I hope you're doing okay, my friend. Sun did come up today. It's going to be all right. Aim for the bushes, I would also say. Rhett Lashlee, as much as I poke fun at him here, he's a guy that's definitely fighting at a moment in time where you need a fighter like that to be leading your program, fighting for every freaking inch to try and make it to the next iteration of whatever college football is going to be. You got donors that are doing that. You got a coach that's doing that. SMU is going to be just fine. But forgive us if we indulge in having a little bit of fun with it as the Big 12 beats SMU again this weekend.